Well, guys, this is it. The big one. This is where it all ends. We played through 3 games, many cases, and today is the final stream of this game at long last. Let's get started. Who's the real killer? Who did the bad thing? And will Larry ever get his lucky break? Last one, probably we all know the answer. Probably not. Probably never. But yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited. This is gonna be good. Start playing from the save game data. I guess so? Right, guys? Yeah, I think so. Refresh my stream real quick, my laptop stream. Give it a second. If anyone's in chat, give it a second. I'll see your message. And if I don't see your message, then make sure you send me a whisper. September 23rd. That's a long ways from now. Remember when we were like, oh, it's May, that's today. Oh, it's May, it's today now. Wow. Yeah. Not this time. Hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, maybe you're watching this on September 23rd at 8:50 a.m. That would be crazy. Alright, let's now begin. Hey, Mafia babe, you're here. Are you ready for the end? The ending of this game? You're first. Are you ready for the big ending? 'Cause here we go! So the one thing we found out yesterday is that Soren was there at the crime scene. Yeah, you ready? I am ready too. Hope your day was good. I only hope I can get some testimony from him that'll get to the heart of the matter. Mr. Wright. Good morning, Ellen. Look, I'm afraid you might not like the result of today's trial. Nevertheless, don't tell me you're still thinking of going that route. Soren is innocent. He can't be found guilty. Take me instead. Ellen, please, try to get a hold of yourself. It was okay, you woke up? Well, good morning to you. Good morning again to you. I believe in Soren with all my heart. How dare you doubt him? Regardless of which one of them is found guilty today, it's going to be devastating for Ellen, isn't it? We just have to do everything we can. That's the best we can do, you know? The trial is about to start. Begin, Mr. Wright. Alright, let's go, Maya. Yeah. Here we go. The final court case, the final thing or whatever. December 23rd. I wonder what we'll be doing on the actual September 23rd of this year. We'll see eventually, huh? All rise. All rise. Court is back in session for the trial of Ellen Wyatt. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Let's see now. Where were we? In yesterday's session, we found out about the Sprocket family's conspiracy to cover up the murder of Dumas Gloomsbury with a second reception. Taking advantage of our collective shock, the defense, as usual, made a nonsensical claim, namely that there was a third-party person present who struck the victim. Objection! Hey, don't try and make it sound like I made it all up. The defendant herself made a statement about the existence of a third person, and further investigation has only proven her statement to be true. Then I presume the defense intends to focus on proving the identity of this third person? Is that alright with you, Mr. Edgeworth? Indeed, Your Honor. In fact, I predict that the defense will most likely... Hey, Captain Chips! Here we go, yep, the finale. Right now, Captain Chips, you missed a lot of stuff that happened last time, but, we have someone that we might accuse, and it's, not the person you think it is. We think that it's, this guy, Soren Sprocket. So, is he the one? We'll see. In fact, I predict the defense will most likely attempt to name Mr. Soren Sprocket as the true culprit. Ah, see? He accused his fiancée. That's what it's looking like so far. He did say he wanted 2 receptions, and he has a motive also. The sister that was killed, the person that was the driver of that car accident was this guy, the victim person. So, yeah, that's what's going on right now. How did you... The driver during the accident that killed Mr. Sprocket's sister was the victim. Therefore, Mr. Sprocket had a motive to murder Mr. Gloomsbury. That's what you plan to assert, is it not, Mr. Wright? Am I that transparent? Come now, Mr. Wright. Did you really think the police wouldn't uncover this information? Congrats on getting it in one, Mr. Edgeworth. But... You're wrong. Soren didn't do it. He's innocent. Miss Wyatt, please. He's innocent, I tell you. What is this, Mr. Wright? I thought your claim about the existence of a third person came from the defendant. It did. This is just a minor hiccup. Did you not discuss your strategy for today with the defendant, Mr. Wright? Starting off at the wrong foot again is seriously cutting into my lifespan. It would appear that the defense is in disarray. Therefore, the best way to clear things up is to ask Mr. Sprocket himself what happened. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to call Soren Sprocket to the stand. Well, you are dealing with the chief prosecutor, my dude. This was never gonna be easy. Even if he's an old friend. Exactly. Plus, was Edgeworth ever easy? What? Very well. Bailiff, please bring Mr. Sprocket to the witness stand. There he is. Apparently he has a journal, by the way, that he has. He writes everything in it, meaning everything. Witness, please state your name and occupation. And he kind of freaked out when he lost it last time. Yes, actually, you could argue his time as a rookie prosecutor was the easiest main rival in the series. Ow! There's something written on this paper airplane. Maybe the Steel Samurai was Edgeworth's easiest, because he was kind of cooperating with you at the end. Let's see. Soren Sprocket, Managing Director of Sprocket Aviation. Mr. Sprocket, please give your answers in words, not paper airplanes. Now then, Mr. Sprocket, please tell that doubting lawyer there what really happened at the time of the crime. Well, Mr. Sprocket? Mr. Sprocket! Alright. Grrr. You want me to talk about what happened when the crime occurred? In other words, after the first wedding reception, when Ellen and I were in the reception hall, right? Not even the power of the court can stop him from marching to the beat of his own drum. As usual, Edgy cannot wrangle the witnesses. Yep, I was missing that. Always a good time. I was stabbed by Dumas in the reception hall and I collapsed to the floor. The next thing I saw was Ellen and Dumas on the Vista deck. I knew Ellen was in danger, so I headed for the Vista deck. But when I got there, Dumas was already... I don't want to believe it, but it must have been Ellen. Nothing else makes sense. Well, wait just a minute here. You actually think Miss Wyatt killed the victim? That's right. Dumas was killed by Ellen. This is unbelievable. How can you suspect your bride, the woman you love?
Objection!
The truth can be cruel. Miss Wyatt, you must be very upset. Is there anything you wish to say? No, I can't believe this. Soren, I thought that at least you would believe in me. The best way now is to show your love for your groom, is to admit your guilt and try to atone. Soren.
Hold it!
Mr. Edgeworth, I haven't even cross-examined the witness yet. And quit picking on the clearly distraught. Yeah, that's not cool, Mr. Edgeworth. A court is where we seek the truth, and the truth is unyielding, even to the truly pitiful. Mr. Edgeworth, I find it distasteful to make a lady cry. Nick. Et tu, Your Honor. So, what are you going to do, Nick? If the third person Ellen saw on the Vista deck was Soren, then we have to prove Soren was there at the time of the murder. I don't see any obvious inconsistencies in his testimony, but we have to push forward. Who do you did it, Mafia Babe? I asked Captain Chips already, but who do you think is the murderer? By the way, by pushing forward, we mean to press forward. You have no clue this time around. Could be anyone. It might be Angel of Mafia Babe, just to let you know. It might be, your sis, again. Again.
Hold it!
True, I know, it's crazy. I'm absolutely sure, Mr. Sprocket, that by the time you got to the Vista deck, the murder had already been committed? Yes. But the Vista deck is just on the other side of the glass windows in the reception hall. Shouldn't you have been able to get there right away? Mr. Wright, have you investigated nothing? The only way to the Vista deck is to go to the hold and take the lift. No matter how much one hurries, it would take at least 10 minutes. Arg, well, that's unhelpful. But Soren had to have gotten there before the murder, or my claim won't stand. Do you have any ideas for me, Maya? It's definitely easier to prove that someone did go to the hold than not. I mean, you can't leave anything if you don't go someplace, right? Can't leave anything. Wait a minute. I think Maya is onto something here. The lack of a certain something actually proves that Soren didn't go to the hold. What's the matter? Are you stumped already? No, I'm far from stumped, Mr. Edgeworth. I know for a fact that Mr. Sprocket didn't go to the hold. You and your paper-thin bluffs. Mr. Sprocket's bloodstain on the lift proves he went through the hold. So what possible proof could you have that he did not in fact go through there? You want proof? You got it. You can do this, Phoenix. There's gotta be proof that Soren didn't go through the hold. Well, Mr. Wright, this proves that Mr. Sprocket didn't go through the hold. It's something unexpected, guys. That's right, my Ace Attorney badge. Isn't that crazy? No, it's something else, actually. Let me see. This? Oh, here it is.
Take that!
As anyone can see from the hold entry record, there is absolutely no mention of Soren Sprocket entering the hold. The defense asserts that Mr. Sprocket used a different route to get to the Vista deck. You can assert all you want, Mr. Wright, but can you actually prove another route exists? Can I prove the existence of another route to the Vista deck, you ask? I can. I can prove it. Even if it's just a bluff, I have to present something. Anything that could prove the existence of a faster route to the Vista deck. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Show us how Mr. Sprocket got to the Vista deck. Made it through here. So something on the left side. Present the escape hatch on the left side. Not really telling me where the escape hatch is, though. Think it's this, maybe? Maybe it's this thing.
Take that!
Wrong! No, that's right. To save his bride from danger, Mr. Sprocket opened the escape hatch and made his way along the outside wall to the Vista deck. Isn't that right, Mr. Sprocket? That would certainly be a much faster route to the Vista deck.
Objection!
I'm disappointed, Mr. Wright. Is that really the best you can muster? That escape hatch is not meant to be used to get from the reception hall to the Vista deck. One slip and that's all it would take for Mr. Sprocket to plunge to his death. Have to agree, the defense's claim is really stretching it. I understand how it sounds, Your Honor. But at this point, it's too early to definitely say that he didn't go that way. So that's what you're going with this? So that's what you're going with then, I take it? Of course, Your Honor. This is real life, Mr. Wright, not some cinematic driveler's comic book. Do you have some sort of logical explanation to share that would convince us of your claim? I do. Are you sure, Nick? Kind of. Actually, I have nothing. So I'll just have to wing it somehow. On what do you base your theory that Mr. Sprocket made his way along the outside? My theory that he was able to go through the outside wall despite the danger is based on the power of money, of authority. No, it's love. To save the bride he loves, the groom risks his life to rush to his side. Her side. Round the outside, round the outside. Yep. Mr. Sprocket was able to make it to the Vista deck despite the danger, because of the power of love. The power of love? That love is a source of strength that can help one overcome any obstacle. I think I can relate, thanks to my own long, happy marriage. Wow, he actually seems to be buying it.
Objection!
Unlike edgy. The power of love, you say? That kind of illogical argument is hardly viable in a court of law. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? I'm afraid not, Mr. Edgeworth. You should never underestimate the power of love. Now, Captain Chips, if this were a real judge, would he be saying this? Because I don't think he'd be saying that. You'll understand one day when you get married, which I won't. Exactly, what is so wrong with wishing to remain unwed? Way to set him off, Your Honor. Never mind all this unscientific nonsense. Are you aware, Mr. Wright, that at the time of the crime... that is extremely inadmissible. Extremely. Also, no Edgy Jr. So sad. There was a huge propeller that turned at full speed between the hatch and the Vista deck, even if a person were to go outside through the hatch. They'd be blown away in an instant. Arrgh! Where does your power of love get you now, Mr. Wright? A huge spinning propeller, you say? In that case, I have to admit it does seem impossible. Somewhere Avant Karma is sobbing. Yep, definitely. Arrgh, I should have known. Nick, you can't make that kind of face in the front of your client. The worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles, right? Right. I feel like I just saw Mia look out at me through Maya's eyes. First mention of Mia, guys! Oh, snap! What's wrong, Nick? Why are you gaping at me like a giant sunfish? Thank you, Maya. You just helped me remember something really important. There it is. There's that fearless smile I was looking for. Now give us a mind-blowing theory, just like you always do. I have to turn my thinking around. Instead of wondering how Soren could have moved past that huge propeller, I have to think about what would have made it possible for him to do so. Your Honor, Mr. Wright only makes that ridiculous face when his back is pressed against the wall. Therefore, please do hurry and give your ruling before... Too late. Mr. Edgeworth, it's still far too early to discount my theory. What are you talking about? The airship's large spinning propellers have already shredded it to pieces. But if we think a little more outside the box, I'm sure we can find a way he could have made it. Stop trying to stall, Mr. Wright, and show us how it could have been even remotely possible, if at all. I must agree with Edgeworth. Very well, Your Honor. There must have been a way. Some way that Soren could have moved along the wall in spite of the propeller. Now then, Mr. Wright, what specifically would have made it possible? This is how it would have been possible for Mr. Sprocket to get it to the Vista deck. The answer is... the airship wasn't flying. What allowed Mr. Sprocket to go along outside the wall in spite of the propellers is the location of the flying chapel at the time of the crime. The location of the flying chapel? But wasn't it flying high in the sky? No, Your Honor, I'm afraid it wasn't. What? But then where was it? At the time of the murder, the airship wasn't flying through the sky, but more to the ground. What? And if the airship wasn't flying, then that means... the propellers weren't turning. In which case... Mr. Sprocket could have gone to the Vista deck along the outside wall. Isn't that right, Mr. Sprocket? Irk! Ow. I don't remember. Ow. He stabbed himself with his pencil. That's gonna leave a mark.
Objection!
Even if the propellers weren't turning, it would have been far too risky to go that way. Ah, but Mr. Edgeworth, you're forgetting about the power of love. Yes, the amazing power of love. Not this again. But very well. For the sake of argument, let's assume the so-called power of love made it possible for Mr. Sprocket to move along the outside wall of the airship. Can you prove that the airship was tied to the ground as you claim, Mr. Wright? Well, I don't have any evidence that proves where the airship was at the time. You can prove it, can't you? Erg. Maya, can you think of anything we can use to prove it? Can't say I can. Oh, wait. Didn't somebody see something outside the window at the time of the crime? I think I remember someone saying as much. Do I have a piece of evidence that shows what was outside of the airship? Well, what are you waiting for? This piece of evidence shows what was outside of the airship at the time of the crime. It's... Larry's stupid drawing.
Take that!
This piece of evidence shows what was outside the airship at the time of the murder. What kind of lousy drawing is that? It's a drawing made by Larry Butts. And what can you prove with that poor attempt at artistry? Larry made this drawing before he switched the lanterns, so it must have been right around when the murder was being committed. Now, if I could direct the court's attention here... Is that a pterodactyl? Does that mean that the airship actually went back in time to the Cretaceous period?
Objection!
We've already proven that time travel is nothing more than a gimmick, did we not? We did, and I have no intention of bringing up that argument again, but this drawing shows an important piece of information. It shows us that the airship was actually moored on the ground. Hey, sneakers! What's up? Welcome to the final stream of this game. How you doing today? And what makes you so sure? That's easy. All you have to do is consider who made this drawing. A freaking idiot. Larry. That's right, it was Mr. Butts, and we both know what he's like. You must have seen something else and mistaken it for a pterodactyl. I can't argue with you there. Hey, wait just one doggone second there. What kind of moron do you guys take me for? I saw it with my own eyes. A pterodactyl flew right by the window, I tell you. I have the sharp eyes of an artist. Don't you believe me? No. Nick! Nope. Some friends you guys are. What about the judge? You believe me, we're right, Your Honor? I'm sorry, but I'm afraid you need to leave this courtroom. Bailiff, if you would. Come on, buddy, let's go. Why doesn't anybody believe me? If you think about it, for the best, right, guys? Don't take it personally, Larry. I know you're being, well, you. Now then, so you're saying that what Mr. Butts really saw, bear some relation to what was outside the airship at the time of the murder? Yes, Your Honor. At least, I think it does. With this pterodactyl really will prove the airship was anchored at the mooring dock. Had better anyway. If it doesn't, my whole argument is a bust. If you're that confident about it, please go ahead and tell us what it really was. Larry's great. I know. I'm glad Larry's back in this game. Back for this case. Yes, Your Honor. Think, Phoenix, what could that pterodactyl have actually been? What could it have been, guys? What could it have been, do you think? Maybe it's...
Take that!
Please take a good look at the sign. At the sign? It appears to have been broken and then repaired. But what does this sign have to do with the pterodactyl? Please focus on this part of the sign. The part that broke off and got reattached? What about it? How about we turn it like this? Well... Oh, that shape! It's the pterodactyl in the drawing! What Mr. Butts actually saw was this chunk as it was being blown through the air by wind. What? On the day of the murder, there was some heavy winds in the area of the mooring deck, but it's hard to imagine that the sun would make it up as high as the airship as an airship would fly. That means the flying chapel must have been anchored at the mooring dock that night. Isn't that right, Mr. Sprocket?
Objection!
That's more than enough of this power of love nonsense, you pop culture junkie. Present all the proof you want, but your argument is based far too much in conjecture. Why don't we return to reality now? What do you mean, too much conjecture? Even if the airship wasn't flying, that alone doesn't prove the witness was along the wall. True, even now it's no more than a possibility. Then how do you propose Mr. Sprocket got to the Vista deck, Mr. Edgeworth? Hey, Foursquare! Welcome to the finale of this game, Foursquare. How you doing? I noticed something as I went over the evidence. Please take a look at this hold entry record. What about it? Is Apollo okay? Oh, sorry that I missed your message, by the way. Apollo is still in Karatin, and he is going to live in Karatin for the foreseeable forever future. But yeah, how have you been? I don't see Mr. Sprocket listed on here anywhere. Don't you remember? In yesterday's session, we had a very similar kind of argument. Did we? Honestly, Mr. Wright, are you going senile already? We talked about Larry Butts using the defendant's keycard to enter the hold. Oh, we did talk about that, didn't we? In other words, even if a person's name isn't on the entry record, it's still possible for that person to have entered by using someone else's card. Arg! Mr. Sprocket. That's a lot of dialogue, oh dear. Not much. Play a game. Free to play. Gameplay is left behind the paywall. Oh, no gameplay. Great community. Thing that gives you advantage. Posing locking game content behind the paywall. Closer there. Yeah. Fair net close for free. Sounds like an interesting game, The Real Sneakers. You love the facial expressions? This game is fun. It's fine, Sneakers, don't worry. But yeah, the game does sound cool. Mr. Sprocket, you entered the hole with Mr. Nickety, didn't you? I did. What? Why didn't you tell us in the first place? Pierce is indispensable. I didn't want to mention him unnecessarily and risk having him wrongly accused. I couldn't do without him. Mr. Sprocket, I ask that you testify in greater detail about your movements that night. Sneakers, this is the last stream. I'm excited. Who do you think it could be? Who knows? The truth is, I went to the Vista deck with Pierce. That's why my name doesn't appear on the whole entry record. I was badly injured from being stabbed, but I was frantic. By the time we reached the scene, it was all over. Well, this doesn't help me out one bit. Mr. Sprocket, you've concealed information from us time and time again. Slam. Who do you think you are, treating this court of law with such irreverence? That being said, I do appreciate the testimony you gave just now. Thanks to you, we now know why your name doesn't appear on the entry record. Now there are no more inconsistencies in the witness's testimony. Arg! That's with Mr. Edgeworth for you. He never leaves a loose end dangling. You okay, Nick? I would have exactly called the situation okay. Somehow I'll have to coax the information we need for an opening out of him. If I even can, that is. You believe it is the guilty person? You're right. It is the guilty person. Whoever is the murderer. Wow. The truth is, I went to the Vista deck with Pierce.
Hold it!
You didn't mention this because you didn't want Mr. Nickety to fall under suspicion. Is that because he had something to hide? I just didn't want the police to take up his time with all their questions, that's all. Neither the company nor the household would function smoothly without him. I see. Wow, sounds like Pierce is absolutely indispensable to the Sprockets. Anyway, getting back to your statement, when did you meet up with Mr. Nickety? We met up on my way to the Vista deck. I think Pierce and some of my relatives were on another floor. But Pierce heard the commotion and came running to my side. He could hear the pandemonium all the way from another floor. Mr. Wright, would you like the current statement added to the witness's testimony? Okay. Yes, please, Your Honor. Very well. No. No. Yes. Badly injured, and I was frantic.
Hold it!
Speaking of your injury, how are you doing now? The knife wound is deep and continues to throb with pain. Fortunately, my internal organs were spared, but one wrong move would have spelled the end of me there. Hey, Stars over Hyrule! Welcome to the end game of this game. How you doing? Hope your day has been awesome and well. Even so, I've seen you up and about all over the place since the incident. I'm only following my doctor's orders to perform some daily light exercises. Mr. Wright, would you like Mr. Sprocket's statement about his condition added to his testimony? Not that it appears especially relevant to me. Should I have him added to his testimony? Yeah, why not? Come on. I'm doing awesome. I'm excited to show you guys the ending to game. I see. Very well. The knife wound is quite deep and continues to throb with pain. The knife wound is quite pain, huh? Are you sure? Because... Candelabra! Mr. Sprocket, you just said your injury is a knife wound, didn't you? But the weapon you were stabbed with was this candelabra. A fact I know you're quite aware of. Very well. This is what I heard directly from Master Soren himself. As you surmised, Master Soren was stabbed by Gloomsbury on the day of the murder. It happened after the first wedding reception. The happy couple was in the reception hall when suddenly Gloomsbury appeared. He attacked Miss Ellen and tried to take her away. Master Soren went to stop him and found himself in a struggle with Gloomsbury. That is when Master Soren was stabbed with the candelabra, he said. It must have been a simple memory slip that made him misspeak. It happens to everyone. It has nothing to do with the case. You must be pretty desperate to point out something so minute. Grr. I have to agree, Mr. Wright. You hardly need to make such a big deal over such a small mistake. but I contend that it's an important inconsistency. Besides, I couldn't find anything else. This is the only thing I have left to go after. And I say it's not important. Now, let's not waste any more time on this matter. I agree. Everybody has a little memory lapse every now and then. But, Your Honor, please let me explain. But can you? Can you really explain to this court what makes this slip so important? Yes, I can, Your Honor. After all, it was Soren himself who told Pierce that he had been stabbed by a candelabra. This is more than a simple memory slip. There has to be some kind of reason for it. Well, Mr. Wright, please explain why the witness's slip of the tongue is so important. The point to focus on here is why the witness would mistake the weapon to use to stab him. Think carefully, Phoenix. This could very well change the course of the trial. I see. So why did the witness make that mistake, Mr. Wright? Mr. Sprocket identified the wrong person used against him because he has no memory. He doesn't remember the incident, let alone the weapon used against him. Not only that, but I believe Mr. Sprocket has some sort of memory disorder. Therefore, the defense contends that Mr. Sprocket's testimony thus far is invalid.
Objection!
Just because you can't find a flaw in his testimony, you want to throw it all out? Your baseless claim is nothing but pure slander of the witness's character. Mr. Edgeworth is correct, Mr. Wright. Can you explain your grounds for making his claim? Of course, Your Honor. Think of what Soren has said and how he's behaved. This is where I'll find a clue. Very well, let's hear your argument then. My grounds for claiming that Mr. Sprocket has a memory disorder is his notebook. The notebook he always has with him. I saw daily events and information about the people around him recorded in it. Like a diary, perhaps? No, Your Honor. It's much too detailed to be an ordinary diary. It's more on the order of a database, actually. A database, you say? That's right. For some reason, Mr. Sprocket is apparently unable to retain memories. That's why he writes every little detail of his life down in his notebook.
Objection!
How can you possibly know that for sure? He might just be an extremely compulsive person. I thought so too myself at first. To be honest, we accidentally got a stain on that notebook yesterday. You mean you got a stain on it? Hey, you're the one who tried to grab it out of my...
Objection!
Never mind whose fault it was, just get to the point already. Edgeworth. Good old Edgeworth, am I right? Right, sorry. Mr. Sprocket. The page Miss Fay got a stain on yesterday. That's the page with the details of your stabbing on it, isn't it? No! I only write in this notebook because I'm very compulsive. Now drop the subject already. Sorry, but I'm not convinced. I noticed an odd fact about your notebook, Mr. Sprocket. On the earlier pages, you used it to write down invention ideas. But after a certain date, you started writing down a lot more, and in much more detail. I believe your memory disorder stems from what happened on that date. Something so monumental that caused a memory disorder, Mr. Wright? You don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, but I do know what I'm talking about, and this is the proof. This is the thing that caused Mr. Sprocket's memory disorder. Hey guys, this is like that movie, 50 First Dates. The girl with the bad memory. Hey Kenny Lee, how you doing?
Take that!
You were involved in this car accident too, weren't you, Mr. Sprocket? Yeah, that girl was involved in it with a car accident too. You were involved in this car accident, and the shock of losing your beloved older sister is what caused you to develop your memory disorder. Is this true, Mr. Sprocket? Well, is it? Mr. Sprocket. It's true. That accident did something to my mind. What? Ever since that day, every time I go to sleep, I lose my memories. And when I wake up, the most recent thing I can remember is the day I lost my sister. It's as if I'm constantly going back in time. What? That's truly tragic. you're doing well, just lurking. Make sure and have a good stream, y'all. Get justice. Oh, I will. I don't think I can get justice, but we will get Phoenix. Ha 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 ha. But I'll see you soon, Kenny Lee. An inconsolable time traveler who goes back in time whenever he goes to sleep. Besides, time travelers do exist, you know, but you wouldn't understand. So that's what Soren meant. He was talking about himself. The reactions of the people around me each time I awoke made me aware of my condition. That's why I decided to write everything down in my notebook so I could move forward. So the only memories you have since that day are the ones written in that notebook? That's right. And since the page about your stabbing got stained, you couldn't read it. You couldn't read from it, could you? There's just one more thing I'd like you to clarify for me, Mr. Sprocket. Exactly what are your feelings toward the victim? Mr. Sprocket's feelings towards Dumas Gloomsbury? That's right, Your Honor. The witness said that every time he wakes up from sleep, his mind goes back to the day his sister died. Mr. Wright, you can't mean... Mr. Sprocket? Your pent-up feelings of anger and resentment toward Mr. Gloomsbury for the accident were renewed each and every time you woke, were they not? Yeah. But you couldn't take it anymore, so you turned to murder, isn't that right? What? Mr. Wright, are you saying that the witness murdered Mr. Gloomsbury? For revenge? Well, Mr. Sprocket? Miss Wyatt? Your Honor? I did it. I killed Mr. Gloomsbury. No! What? Well... this is a problem. Miss Wyatt, what are you trying to do? Don't tell me you're still thinking of going that route. Soren is innocent. He can't be found guilty. Take me instead. Ellen, please, try and get a hold of yourself. Here we go. I guess she really meant it. My Soren didn't do anything wrong. I'm the one who should be convicted. Are we to understand that you're confessing your guilt? No. Now wait just a minute here. Ellen, why would you cover for me? After I testified that I thought you must have killed him. I'll admit, I couldn't believe my ears at first. But all I want is for you to be happy. Your happiness is my happiness, Soren. But without my notebook, I'd even forget those feelings of yours by tomorrow. Knowing that, do you still feel this way? You've loved me all this time, the same way you did before the accident. That's how I know that you're the same person I've always loved. No disorder can change that. Ellen. Your Honor, there are 2 things I'd like to correct. 2 corrections? What are they? First of all, I want to withdraw one of my statements. That's right. Dumas was killed by Ellen. Without memories to rely on, I took the police completely at their word. You can't be serious. So, that means Soren never really doubted Ellen in the first place, did he, Nick? Ellen really does love Soren with all her heart, but in order to save her, I'll still have to go after Soren. I hope you can forgive me, Ellen. And what is your other correction, Mr. Sprocket? The truth is, I never felt anger or resentment toward Dumas about my sister. What? Why not? That's because the one who caused the car accident was me. What? Oh dear. Order in the court. Please continue, Mr. Sprocket. I'm the one who killed my sister. To protect my career and my future, my father made Dumas take the blame in exchange for money and the position of lead servant. Well. So you see, Dumas must have held a grudge against me, not the other way around, and he must have attacked Ellen to get his revenge on me. Are you sure about all of this, Mr. Sprocket? Very sure. It's all been written down in detail in my notebook. That notebook is important evidence supplying background to this case. Must insist you submit it as evidence. The lawyer said I had turned to murder, but that's just not true. However, it is true that my older sister and Dumas are both dead because of me and my negligence. I just glanced through Mr. Sprocket's notebook. Wasn't able to read the part about when he was stabbed due to the bloodstain, but what's written here about his sister's car accident is exactly as he stated. Your Honor, as long as it matches what's written in that notebook. Can we still take the witness's testimony as valid in spite of his memory disorder? Yes, I believe we can. I understand now that the witness's memory is in disarray. But if what Mr. Sprocket himself wrote in this notebook is true, then that means by the time Mr. Sprocket's party reached the scene, the victim had already been killed. Edgeworth's right. I'm still in the same bind as before. Should I really simply accept the contents of the notebook as a substitute for Soren's memory? Well, Mr. Wright, what do you think? Will you accept Mr. Sprocket's notebook as an official representation of his memories? Will I accept Mr. Sprocket's notebook as an official representation of his memories? I'm gonna do... no. Wait a minute, Your Honor. The defense requests a chance to examine the notebook to see if it's trustworthy. Very well, but be quick about it. Thank you, Your Honor. So, how should we examine it? Well, we should look at it from all different angles to see if there's anything suspicious. You know, like this. There's no point if I don't look at what's inside. I have to open it. With your permission, Soren, here I go. Yikes. Oh, it's just the page Maya got all stained. But I guess it's not going to be very helpful at this moment. I'll keep going. This is the last page where there's writing. Something about this page doesn't sit right with me. I better take a closer look. Yeah, I'd say this is, an issue. Huh? A page has been torn out, and it looks like there was something written on it. It looks like a page has been torn out here. Mr. Sprocket, do you know what was written on it? Oh, that? I often tear out a page when I write somebody a note. I probably wrote something down for somebody, tore it out, and gave it to them. I made it into a paper airplane, too. Oh, yeah. That solves that, then.
Objection!
Wait a minute. We can't ignore the possibility that something important was written on that page. But now the page has been torn out, how can we determine what was written there? Well... let's see. To find out what was written in the notebook, we should... use the fingerprint powder. If we use fingerprint powder on the notebook, we might be able to see what was written. Fingerprint powder? How would that help us find out what was written there? Well, if the writing left indentations on the blank page behind it, fingerprint powder could make those small indentations visible to the naked eye. Oh, stop. Fingerprint powder would only sully the notebook further. Mr. Wright, if you use the powder and still don't find anything, then you must accept the notebook as a representation of the witness's memories. All right, Your Honor, I understand. If I don't find anything, it's all over anyway. Powder, don't fail me now. I will now use fingerprint powder on the blank page, or find out if we can see what was written on the torn out page. First, I'll apply some fingerprint powder to these pages with A. When I've dusted on enough powder, I'll use blow. Powder and blow at the same time, to blow the excess powder away. If something should appear, I should switch to Analyze mode, L. Point to where what came up, then confirm my choice. Okay. Here we go. What are we gonna find, guys? Anything? Anything at all? this everything, do you think? Hello! To the... Oh. Okay, there's more. There's a lot more, actually. Well, 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 guys. What do we have here? Dummus took Ellen to the Vista deck. Oh, I can't save it. Oh, no. Analyze. Still can't save it. Confirm. Looks like it didn't get quite enough fingerprint powder on the page. Guess I better dust on it a little more. What? What do you mean, dust it more? Is that enough? Is that enough for you, game? Is that enough for you? Wait, was there? Oh, there's more down here. Struck. I struck, killed Dummas. Wait a minute, there's another word here. I struck and I killed Dummas. Well, well, well. It says, I struck and killed Dummas. This is huge. Did we find our guy, guys? I struck and killed Dummas. That's what it was. That's what was written on the torn out page. What? It can't be. I don't believe it. There has to be some kind of mistake. Soren could never. And she's down. Oh, hang on a minute. Miss Wyatt! Bailiff, please get the defendant to the infirmary at once. You have some splaining to do. Apparently the defendant got too worked up. She rested in the infirmary as we speak. Now then, please continue, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. This notebook is all Mr. Sprocket asked to remember things by. Whoops. Okay. Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. With this critical page torn out, not even Mr. Sprocket himself knew the truth of what he'd done. I'm the one who killed Dummas? So it wasn't Ellen. Oh, thank goodness. Mr. Sprocket, does this mean you were at the crime scene during the murder after all? I guess I must have been. But Mr. Sprocket, can we really believe what's written in this notebook? Nobody touches this notebook but me, and when I sleep, it's under lock and key. I don't remember writing that I killed Dummas, but I guess I must have. Well, now that we have a confession, I'm afraid I must render my verdict. Of all the... Yes, Your Honor, please give me your ruling now, while Ellen is asleep. I want the woman I love to be set free as soon as possible. Soren really does love Ellen after all, doesn't he? Yeah. So this is how it ends? But is this how it really went down? Is there really no way for them to both be happy? I know we should consider anything written in the notebook to be the truth, but still. I myself wrote of the crime in my notebook. No further proof is necessary. Soren himself wrote it in his notebook? Wait a minute. Very well. I will now give my verdict. Ellen is about to be found not guilty, and Soren will be convicted for the crime instead. And yet, am I really ready for the judge to give his ruling? What do you think, guys? Are we done? Is the case over? Wouldn't it be much fun? So... No. Not when there's still one more avenue left to explore. This court finds the defendant, Ellen Wyatt.
Hold it!
Your Honor, there's still something that bothers me about that notebook. Oh, is there? What are you doing, Mr. Wright? All you have to do is keep quiet, and your client's a free woman. I know, but I think there might be more to this case than meets the eye. I'm not quite sure yet, but I think there still might be a way. Wait for Ellen and Soren to be happy. What do you mean by more than meets the eye, Mr. Wright? I believe the question here, Your Honor, should be, why was the incriminating page torn out in the first place? Why to destroy the evidence, I would imagine. But removing it from the notebook isn't the same as removing it from Mr. Sprocket's memory, which means he wouldn't have been able to trick the police if he came under suspicion. No, if he wanted to cover up his crime, he would have to remember that he had done it. So what are you getting at with this line of inquiry, Mr. Wright? Yes, please explain it so that we can all understand. Yes, Your Honor. The page was torn out of the notebook because somebody else tore it out. The incriminating page was torn out by somebody else. What? Give me a second. Okay. Order. Are you claiming the third person interfered with the notebook? It's not all that surprising if you consider what's happened up until now. After both the car accident and the murder of Dumas Gloomsbury, there was always a cover-up not far behind. But I had my notebook with me at all times. Did you? Because I remember you were in a panic yesterday because you couldn't find it. That's true. So who orchestrated this particular cover-up, Mr. Wright? If we think back over the course of the trial, it's pretty easy to guess. The one who may have tried to tamper with Soren's memories is... shocker, it's... the butler.
Take that!
The one who tampered with the notebook in order to manipulate Mr. Sprocket's memory is Pierce Snickety. Pierce Snickety. Pierce? Pierce tried to tamper with my memories? Pierce was manipulating me? See, case in point, the 2 receptions that were held to cover up the murder. It was Mr. Nickety who directed the guests and orchestrated the entire scheme. No, it can't be. Which of my memories are mine, and which have been rewritten? When did he start rewriting my memories? Who wrote this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this? Ah! Wow. Wish I could fly. He literally took off. Ah! What? Mind screw. Look, Nikki's coming back down. My memories. Ellen. Mr. Sprocket! Bailiff, please get Mr. Sprocket to the infirmary. On the double. That's it, to be clear, something straight out of freaking Evangelion. What, the thing that he just did there? The up and then the down thingy? Mr. Sprocket has been taken to the infirmary. We don't have to worry about him running away, so let us resume where we left off. Your Honor, the defense would like to call Pierce Snickety to the stand.
Objection.
We already know he carried out the cover-up to protect the company and Mr. Sprocket. What more do you want from him? This time is different. The notebook, or rather, Mr. Sprocket's memories, have been tampered with. That means the only person who knows the whole truth is now Mr. Nickety. Don't tell me. Are you actually trying to drum up a third suspect in order to exonerate the defense and her groom? I'm not drumming up anything, nor do I have grounds to accuse him of anything. Yet. The suddenly not knowing and whose memories are your own? Oh, gotcha. I haven't seen that series in a long time. Should rewatch it again. All I know is that Mr. Nickety is the only one who knows the truth. And I think he's still hiding something we don't know about yet. No grounds yet, is it? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution consent to calling the witness to the stand? It does, Your Honor. However, I would like a little time to talk with the witness before we do. Very well. We will break for a 20-minute recess. And now, guys, for today's amazing Disney movie update. It was another Pixar movie. Pretty much the rest of them are Pixar's. Well, not really. But, all the way back in 1995, a young boy named Andy got a Buzz Lightyear for his birthday. He got that Buzz Lightyear because he saw a certain movie. And that movie is what I saw yesterday. Last night. I'm sure all of you can guess what that movie was based on that. And it was alright. It was fine. As you keep asking, is there a difference between Disney and Pixar anymore? Maybe like 5% better graphics? Better animation? It's really hard to tell at this point, to be honest. Lightyear, yep. They made a Lightyear movie. It was fine. It gave me Xenoblade Chronicles X vibes, to be honest. Because the story was he and his group got stuck on a different planet. And they tried to escape. And it was alright. Some weird decisions in the movie, but it was fine. I liked it. Who was the one that voices Buzz in Toy Story? That guy wasn't Buzz in this movie for some reason. Oh well. Anyway, you remember, is that for some reason Buzz looked uncannily like Markiplier? I don't know about that. He kind of looked like the neighbor, to be honest, from Hello Neighbor, or whatever that flippin' game was. But yeah, it was fine. By the way, guys, Tim Allen's kind of been off doing nothing since 2012. Aww. Except playing Buzz in the Toy Story movies. But, by the way, guys, 2 movies to go. 2 movies! Oh my god! Okay, moving on. Elemental and something else. Spoilers. God. But yeah, 2 more. That one and another one. Now we'll have to face Pierce on the stand. I'm not sure if I should be surprised or not. One thing's for sure. He's the butler. And the butler's the one that did it. One thing's for sure. He won't be an easy adversary. So, do you think Pierce did it? It's too early to say anything at this point. But I do think he's still hiding something. Nick! Why didn't you pin everything on Soren Loser back there? Looks like Larry still hasn't given up on Ellen. If this Pierce guy is the real bad guy, then Soren and Mayeli will live happily ever after together. Larry, that's not the kind of thing a decent human being says. Shame on you, Larry. Oh, boo-hoo. You think I don't know. I know I have to give up on my Ellie. But Nick, promise you'll make her happy. She deserves a happily ever after. Sure, Soren will make her happy once all this is said and done. Trial is about to resume, Mr. Wright. Alright, you ready, Maya? Yep, let's go. I'll be rooting for you, Nick. I mean, you can, but I don't know. This court is now back in session. Witness, please take the stand. Ooh, the final witness, guys. Could he be the final murderer? Please state your name and occupation. My name is Pierce Snickety. I am the Sprocket family butler. Let's get straight to the point, Mr. Nickety. Someone tore out a page from Mr. Sprocket's notebook to manipulate his memories. And that person was you, wasn't it? That is correct. What about it? Well, that was easy. So why did you do it? Why did you tamper with Mr. Sprocket's notebook? Please allow me to explain. It pains me to do this, but I will tell you the truth. It pains you? That is correct. For my testimony will go against Master Soren's wishes. Soren's wishes? What is he talking about? Soren sounds like Sauron, by the way. Coincidence? I rushed to the Vista deck, but the crime had already been committed. I saw Miss Ellen in Gloomsbury collapse, and Master Soren wrote writing in his notebook. Master Soren said to me, "I'll take the blame for the murder, so please take care of Ellen." But I went against his order. I tore the page out of his notebook and hid the body. Welp. Wait a second. What Mr. Sprocket was writing in his notebook at the time, could it be... It was meant to be a confession, an admission he'd killed Gloomsbury himself. He wrote that message to take the blame for Miss Wyatt? That is correct. Master Soren did hit Gloomsbury with the timekeeper to save Miss Ellen. Then Mr. Sprocket was the culprit after all. However, that blow did not kill Gloomsbury. That makes sense. Mr. Sprocket's injury wouldn't allow him to put much force into it. Enraged, Gloomsbury tried to attack Master Soren, who was already seriously wounded. But just in the nick of time, Miss Ellen hit Gloomsbury from behind and finished him off, it would seem. So the one who inflicted the fatal blow was the defendant. Yes, that is correct. But Master Soren tried to take all the blame onto himself. No way! This is pretty bad, Nick. No kidding. Pretty bad is an understatement. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems your decision to call for Mr. Nickety has backfired. For the true culprit behind the case remains the defendant, Ellen Wyatt. Arg, could this get any worse? But Pierce was involved in the cover-up plot, and I bet he still has something to hide. No. But I went against his order. I tore the page out of his notebook and hid the body.
Hold it!
Mr. Nickety, could you please tell this court about that in more detail? That, you say? Which part do you mean, Mr. Wright? Could you be more specific? Oh, alright. What part do I want to know more about? How about that one? Please tell me more about the hiding of the body. Very well. After saying he would take the blame, Master Soren passed out. That's when I hid the body. I quickly took the lift down to the hold, where I hid Gloomsbury's still warm body in the spare peggable lantern. So it was you who hid the body, not the defendant? To think Mr. Butts would move the lantern containing the body to the reception hall. Well, I did not see that coming. I don't blame you. Not even Larry can predict what Larry will do next. Poor Larry. Maybe I should take another look at the lantern and the evidence. Mr. Wright, would you like that statement added to the witness's testimony? Okay. Yes, please. Very well. Please add that statement to your testimony, Mr. Nickety. Nick and Nickety. In the hole I hid the still warm body in the spare peggable lantern. Did you now? Because that's...
Objection!
Could it be? Is this what happened? If what I'm thinking is true, then maybe I can prove neither Ellen nor Soren did the deed. Mr. Nickety, you said the body was still warm when you hid it, correct? So then, what if Mr. Gloomsbury was still alive when you went to put his body inside the lantern? What? What? That's preposterous. Actually, this shows that the victim might have still been alive while inside the lantern. I'm afraid you'll have to point out which part you're talking about, Mr. Wright. This part here shows that the victim might have still been alive inside the lantern. Right there.
Take that!
As you can see, the back end of the lantern is a door. And there's blood here on the window and the wheel handle. Oh, cheap viewers on Bloop, best quality, no ban guarantee. Thank you. Yes, I will. I will do that right away, my friend. Mafia Babe, can you do the honors of showing this person the grand treatment? Oh, thank you so much. You are beautiful. You are a beautiful, amazing soul. Thank you so much for getting rid of that bot. Oh man, they just never end, don't they? Don't they, Mafia Babe? I'm glad that it's like one per stream, though. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate you. The bloodstain must have gotten there when the witness put the body inside the lantern. Yeah. So annoying. Can we put them on the witness stand, maybe? It in no way shows the victim drew his last breath while he was within the lantern. I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth, for you see, in putting this lantern back together, the police inadvertently placed the inside handle on the outside and vice versa. In other words, the wheel handles got swapped. Oh my, so they got swapped? Yes, they got swapped. They got swapped? But that's ridiculous. Not at all, if you compare the other male peggable lantern in the reception hall. It's quite obvious the wheel handles were attached backwards. The detective in charge of the restoration will see me in my office later. Sorry, Emma, and good luck. In that case, what does the bloodstain on this wheel handle mean? The bloodstain didn't get there by chance. When the victim was put inside the lantern, he was only unconscious, not dead. When he regained consciousness, he probably tried to get out of the lantern, so he grasped the inner wheel handle, and that's when the blood got on it. This proves that the victim was still alive when he was inside the lantern. At the time, I was completely convinced Gloomsbury was dead. Give me a second, guys. Okay. At the time, I was completely convinced that Gloomsbury was dead. This getting complicated? Yeah, a little bit. But, hold on. Had I checked more carefully, he might have survived. Unfortunately, to be sure, but not significant enough to change this trial's outcome. Again, I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. It actually has a very significant impact on this case. The victim was struck by the defendant and died from his injuries some time later. There's nothing more to it. That's where you're wrong. Let's take another look at Mr. Gloomsbury's autopsy report, shall we? Please focus on the description of his injuries. It says one concussion was found on the back of the head, and one on the side. Yes, the one Mr. Sprocket gave him, and the one Miss Wyatt delivered to finish him off. No, the defense would like to submit a different interpretation. A different interpretation? The victim was knocked unconscious by the first blow, and was then put into the lantern. But then, what about the lethal blow by the defendant that the witness talked about? Yes, well, that didn't happen. After some time, when the victim regained consciousness and tried to get out of the lantern, that's when he received the second blow that finished him off. Taking into account the fact that the victim was alive for a period after the first hit, and then he did receive a second blow to the head, it does seem entirely possible. Yes, as long as the first blow didn't kill the victim instantly, then there's a possibility that someone other than Mr. Sprocket or Miss Wyatt delivered the fatal blow. That's all you've got? Even if there was a time lag between the two blows, the prosecution's position doesn't change. What? What do you mean? It's elementary, Mr. Wright. After the reception, when the defendant was cleaning up the reception hall, The victim, who was supposed to be dead, suddenly came out of the lantern. The defendant grabbed the murder weapon, which was right there, and finished him off. That theory sounds awfully familiar. Of course it does, Your Honor, because it's exactly what I proposed at the very start. The second blow was inflicted by the defendant after all. I see. It seems the tangle of mysteries has unraveled into a single thread.
Objection!
But as long as there's a possibility that the fatal blow was delivered by a third person, then we must continue the deliberations. Give it up, Mr. Wright, unless you have something to prove that the presence of your precious third person. Okay, Nick, just relax. You can do this. Come on now, take some deep breaths. Good idea. Deep breaths, deep breaths. There, don't you feel better already? Maya's right. I should calm down, get my focus back, and go over everything again. And then hopefully I'll be able to find something to prove there was a third person. Let's see. First, why did Gloomsbury attack Ellen? Because he was tired of taking the blame for the accident? But something about that line of reasoning just doesn't feel right to me. No? How come? Well, if it's just a personal vendetta, he had already stabbed Soren. So why then was he so determined to go after Ellen? You're right. This whole thing feels too premeditated for a crime of passion. But Gloomsbury didn't seem to have a personal grudge against Ellen. If Gloomsbury didn't have a personal reason to attack Ellen, then... You've taken long enough, Mr. Wright. Now it's time for some action. What proof do you have that a third person was involved? Alright, I'll show you. I'm not completely sure of what I'm doing yet, but it looks like I'm out of time. This piece of evidence proves the involvement of a third person. The save button! It's... Grab Ellen when convenient, then send her off from the Vista deck. Ah.
Take that!
I get it now. Now I see why this note bothered me so much when I first saw it. It looks like a note outlining the murder plot. That note was apparently written by the victim, but why would he feel the need to write instructions to himself like this? Your Honor, please take a look at this note. This is the victim's murder plan, right? It's definitely a murder plan, but what if Mr. Gloomsbury didn't write this note himself? What? This is how you intend to conjure up your mysterious third party, Mr. Wright? Can you even prove that note wasn't written by the victim? Yes. Yes, I can. Very well then. Please present your evidence, Mr. Wright. This evidence proves the victim didn't write the note. It's... the candle thing.
Take that!
This is the weapon Mr. Gloomsbury used to stab Mr. Sprocket. I was wondering when you'd pull out what you pull out this time. Dare I ask what that possibly have to do with the note? Mr. Gloomsbury's prints were found on this candelabra, and the prints were from his left hand. So, that makes the victim left-handed, correct? Exactly, Your Honor. The police looked into it too and confirmed as much. Now, take a look at the smudge writing in this note. Notice how the smudging only starts from the middle of each processing line. Had this been written by a lefty, the writing would be smudged from the far left end. That means that whoever wrote this note was definitely right-handed. In other words, somebody other than the victim wrote this note. What? But if someone other than Mr. Gloomsbury wrote it, then what does this note mean? Mr. Gloomsbury followed this note to the letter when he attacked Miss Wyatt, so clearly this note isn't a murder plan written by Mr. Gloomsbury, but rather, these are instructions to kill Miss Wyatt, issued by somebody else.
Objection!
If it wasn't the victim who wrote these so-called instructions, then who wrote it? Most of the people involved are right-handed, you know. He is correct. The majority of the family and their employees who were on the airship are indeed right-handed. I must say that it is a very rough and slipshod conjecture you proposed. I admit I haven't figured out who wrote it just yet. Leave it to Mr. Edgeworth to go for the jugular. This culprit who ordered Gloomsbury to attack Ellen. What could their motive have been? it doesn't seem very likely Ellen did anything to incur anybody's wrath, right? Right, not too likely anyway. In that case, it had to be about Soren. If somebody were to hold a grudge against Soren, what would it be about? An accident, I guess. I could understand if Gloomsbury felt resentful about having to take the blame, but the one who lost the most to that accident wasn't Soren's sister. She lost her life after all. Soren suffered too, of course. He was crushed by losing somebody so precious to him. Somebody precious, huh? Soren's sister. Wait, there's one more person. There's someone else who must hold a grudge against Soren. Do you figure something out? I think so. I think that somebody else used Gloomsbury to try and get revenge against Soren. Did you say somebody tried to get revenge against Mr. Sprocket, Mr. Wright? The person who manipulated and used Mr. Gloomsbury was... Selina's fiancé. The person who used Mr. Gloomsbury to try and get revenge on Mr. Sprocket, and then finish Mr. Gloomsbury off to silence him, was a man dear to Mr. Sprocket's older sister, Selina Sprocket's fiancé. Not that I'm positive, but it's certainly possible. This fiancé could have made Gloomsbury attack Ellen to get his revenge on Soren. What? Her fiancé? But who's the fiancé? Order in the court. Order, I say. Yes, it does seem quite believable that Miss Selina Sprocket's fiancé would bear a grudge against Mr. Sprocket for his role in the accident. Exactly, Your Honor. Maybe her fiancé was trying to murder Miss Wyatt in order to make Mr. Sprocket experience the same pain he'd felt.
Objection!
Miss Sprocket's fiancé was a surgeon, if memory serves, but the only people who attended the reception were family and staff members. That may be, but then that just means that Mr. Sprocket's fiancé must have been among those who attended. What? Really? Of course. Otherwise, how could he have killed Gloomsbury? Oh, I see what you're doing with this. This is just another giant bluff, isn't it? All right, I'll bite. Who exactly do you claim this fiancé to be? Yes, I would like to know as well. Are you sure you're gonna be okay, Nick? Maybe. When it comes to suspicious people, there's only one person on my list. Need to find something that connects him to Selina. This will help us identify Miss Sprocket's fiancé. Once again, my attorney's badge. I'm the fiancé. It is... the photo.
Take that!
Please take a look at this photo, Your Honor. That photo. Notice Miss Sprocket's pocket watch. Haven't we seen it somewhere before? Yes. Now that you mention it, I do feel as if I've seen it somewhere before. I believe we've all seen it, right here in this very courtroom. Arg, impossible. That's right, the pocket watch in this photo. It's the same pocket watch Mr. Nickety has on him right now. What? This is clear proof of a strong connection between Pierce Nickety and Selina Sprocket. No. Well, Mr. Nickety, is this true? Mr. Nickety, you were once engaged to Selina Sprocket. That pocket watch, you keep it as a memento of her, don't you? Mr. Nickety, you plan to rob Mr. Sprocket of his loved one, to make him feel the same pain as you. Isn't that right? But Mr. Sprocket managed to fight back, and knocked Mr. Gloomsbury unconscious. You thought Mr. Gloomsbury was dead, and hid his body in the lantern. But then you noticed Mr. Gloomsbury regain consciousness. And so you finish him off to prevent your plan from being exposed. This is the defense's take on what really happened in this murder case. Mr. Wright, does this mean you wish to officially accuse this witness of the murder of Dumas Gloomsbury? the defense accuse Mr. Nickety of the murder? Accuse! Yay! The defense indicts Pierce Nickety on the charge of murdering Dumas Gloomsbury. Oh my! Mr. Nickety, would you care to respond? Man, this lawyer just yaps on and on. As you guessed, this watch is a memento of Selina. It stopped working at the time of the accident, though. Then you really are? Yes, I was Selina's fiancé, and not just her fiancé, but the surgeon beside her deathbed.
Objection!
Mr. Nickety, why didn't you tell me any of this before? Shut it, you useless prosecutor. I thought you could be of use, but apparently this case was too much for you. What did you say? If your office hadn't stuck its nose all up in this, I could have swept it under the rug. Not only did you interfere with the case, you even let me fall under suspicion. That's because you kept trying to cover things up on the sly. Urgh. But covering things up wasn't your only involvement. The only person who had a motive to use the victim to try to kill Miss Wyatt was you. Time for a transformation, everyone. Once again. Malignant tumors. There are malignant tumors in this courtroom, lesions oozing with false charges. What's that? Who was that? The tumors are one idiotic lawyer and one useless prosecutor. After the truth is revealed, I'll have the both of you incised from the legal world. I'd like to see you try. With the power of the Sprocket family, it'd be a cinch. I will now begin the operation. What in the world happened to Mr. Nickety? Looks like he's finally showing his true colors. Nick, look what he did to that shoulder mech. Quit your yapping before I suture your chatty lips shut. It's like he's a completely different person. Sure looks like it, huh? We can't let our guards down now. Mr. Nickety, it's finally time for you to testify. To the truth. It seems we're entering the final act at last. Witness your testimony, please. Alright. Here we go. Let's see this testimony. Mr. Nickety, why didn't you say anything? Hack! He just took a picture of me, or something. Oh my gosh. That's his head. You want me to voluntarily testify, hoping I will make a slip of the tongue. Not a very impressive plan, or brain, I might add. Ow, that was uncalled for. If you want to know something, you ask the question. I will answer, but I have no intention of making any voluntary statements of my own. Nah. What's he trying to do, Nick? He's using the silent treatment as a strategy to avoid getting tripped up. Clever guy. No more lies, Mr. Nickety. You will tell us nothing but the truth from now on. Ag! What do you think you're doing? No one asked you to speak. Just keep quiet over there and play with your frills. How dare you? Well, this is a rather unconventional situation, but please proceed, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. X-rays? That's dangerous. Yeah, somehow we got X-rays. 2 X-rays. Alright. Da.
Hold it!
If he won't speak voluntarily, then I guess I'll have to ask him something. What question should I ask? Let's see. To oppress them all, you have a real testimony will work with. Well, it's not telling me which choice to choose. I guess I gotta choose them all, huh? Isn't it true that when Mr. Gloomsbury regained consciousness inside the lantern, you murdered him in order to silence him? He was an excellent employee and very loyal to me. Gloomsbury was my right-hand man. I'd suffered the most from losing him. You really think I'd kill a guy like that? That would make sense only if you were an innocent, but since your goal was revenge, you don't really have to care about something like that. But I am innocent, I tell you. Don't try to force your conjectures onto me. Nah, I guess without decisive evidence, I can't pursue this line of questioning any further. Mr. Wright, would you like the statement added to the witness's testimony? Yes, please, Your Honor. Every little bit I can drag out of him helps, right? Gloomsbury was my right-hand man. I'd suffer the most from losing him. ...
Hold it!
Won't speak voluntarily, then I guess I'll have to ask him something. You've been nursing a grudge against Mr. Sprocket over the loss of your fiancée. Isn't that right? I'd be lying if I said I felt no resentment with whatsoever, but Master Soren didn't cause that accident on purpose. Master Soren himself had suffered greatly. But you quit being a surgeon and found a way to get even closer to Mr. Sprocket. Wasn't that so you could carry out your revenge on him? Don't insult me. Supporting Master Soren and Sprocket Aviation with my life's work as my penance for not being able to save Selena. This is how I honor her. I feel your devotion as both a fiancé and a surgeon. Your statement breaks my heart. I've never thought of exacting revenge on Master Soren. Never thought of it, huh? I guess I should probably take that with a pound of salt. Mr. Wright, would you like the statement added to the witness's testimony? Worth noting that in many situations, refusing the answer is actually a viable tactic that can, pass from your Fifth Amendment rights to contempt of court if you don't do it right. So this guy is like kind of doing it right, huh? Had to find an opening somehow. Let's get some more testimony, eh?
Hold it!
On the day of the incident, you were constantly surrounded by your subordinates. Is that right? Absolutely. I was in someone's line of sight at all times. After all, I was busy taking care of every detail of the event. Mr. Edgeworth, I believe your investigation backs up my claim. I got statements that said groups of his subordinates working with him in rotation, so he was always with someone. As the prosecutor just said, I couldn't even get close to the lantern containing Gloomsbury by myself, let alone kill him. Pierce didn't have a chance to get close to the victim alone, huh? Mr. Wright, the witness? Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to have that statement added to his testimony. Very well. Okay. Only the third of these statements actually gets you somewhere. So, we actually have our thing. The Fifth Amendment is going to fail him now. Yeah. Oh no. Where was it?
Objection!
There it is. Mr. Nickety testified that he was always with someone at the time of the incident, and never had a moment to atone alone to commit the crime. Yes, and the police investigation backs that statement up, doesn't it? But there was an opportunity, in fact, one and only one. A moment where Mr. Nickety could have killed Mr. Gloomsbury without anyone noticing. What? And the one thing that made that moment possible is shown here in this photograph. With all these people watching, how could it have possibly committed murder? Do not believe him, Your Honor. This lawyer is a malignant tumor. He wants to infect this judicial body with... okay. Mr. Nickety, I would ask that you keep quiet this time. We need to evaluate the defense's claim, and your yammering only serves to throw further suspicion your way. Mr. Wright, let's see this one thing you mentioned. Be warned. This had better not be one of your offhanded claims. Who do you think you're talking to, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, Mr. Wright. Please point out for us the one thing that made the moment of the murder possible. That's one moment when it was possible for Mr. Nickety to kill Mr. Gloomsbury. The one thing that made the single moment possible is this. It's... I'm guessing this.
Take that!
The one thing that made the moment of the murder possible is this thick mood fog that engulfed the entire reception hall. It is under the cover of this fog that Mr. Nickety murdered the victim. What? Mr. Nickety was standing right next to it, right next to the lantern that Mr. Gloomsbury was in. That was the only moment the murder could have been committed without being seen.
Objection!
I can accept that there was a moment when the witness was obscured from others by fog. But that doesn't prove Mr. Nickety killed the victim at that very moment. If you can't prove the crime was committed during the reception, the trial ends here. Nah, I was so caught up in finding a foothold that I forgot to think that far ahead. Well done, Mr. Edgeworth. It's time to call this trial's time of death. Well, Mr. Wright, can you prove the murder happened during the reception? Don't even bother. His claim is dead on arrival. Victory's within your grasp, prosecutor. Quiet, witness. I have no interest in victory. All I care about is the truth. Wow, Edgeworth's really come a long way, huh? One that we can only arrive at through further deliberation. Edgeworth. Enough of this, Your Honor. This trial is over. No, Mr. Nickety, that is for me to decide. Mr. Wright, can you prove it? Can you prove that the murder was committed during the wedding reception? Why is there no verdict yet? The lawyer's obviously out of answers. The prosecutor, the judge, they're all infected. The malignant stupidity is so advanced that even the best surgeons can save them. In fact, not even a brain transplant could cure them. This court is infected with idiocy. It's a pandemic.
Objection!
Mr. Nickety, that's enough already. Finally ready to give up, are you? No, just the opposite, actually. I'll prove the murder was committed during the reception by you. Act. You'll prove it. Can you really, Mr. Wright? Yes, I can, Your Honor. To be honest, I don't know exactly how I'll do it just yet, but if I want to get to the truth Edgeworth was talking about, I'll just have to find the way. Very well, Mr. Wright. Let's have your proof. Enough of this foolishness. He's just bluffing. Stop him from speaking, Your Honor. I will do nothing of the sort. You are just a district court judge. With the power of the Sprocket family, Enough of your foolishness, Mr. Nickety. This judicial body will not succumb to the influence of money or power. Irk. Contempt of court. Is this guy in contempt of court, pretty much? Now then, let's hear it, Mr. Wright. Let's hear your truth. Think, Phoenix, remember everything you've learned so far. I think bribing the judge or threatening the judge would definitely get you contempt, right? Remember everything. You can do this. You can find the definitive evidence that will lead us to the truth. It's that time again. Think, Phoenix. How can I prove the murder took place during the wedding reception? Mate, depending on the judge's mood, rolling your eyes during questioning could get you contempt charges. Rolling your eyes, geez. So Mr. Nickety is very in contempt now. How can I prove the murder took place during the wedding reception? If Pierce committed the murder during the reception, then he'd have to have used the murder weapon. He used the murder weapon. Yes, the murder weapon the weapon that was used to strike the victim twice. According to the autopsy report, the victim was hit by the same object both times, so without a doubt, Pierce used it to commit the murder. the weapon used to kill Bloomsbury was... the Timekeeper was the murder weapon! If Pierce struck the victim during the one single moment, then he must have used the Timekeeper. Come to think of it, wasn't it also used for something else during the reception? During the reception, the Timekeeper was also used for... the first... that. The Timekeeper had been activated. Alright. Yelling at the judge to call verdict and that everyone in the room is an idiot is a good way to get bailiffed. That's a good word, actually. Bailiffed. That's right, the Timekeeper had been activated during the reception. If we activate the Timekeeper again now and find any trace evidence of the murder, there would be conclusive proof that Bloomsbury was killed during the reception. A special ceremony took place during the reception in question. What kind of a special ceremony? It was called the first startup of love. Apparently, the couple activated the Timekeeper for the first time during it. Does that mean the Timekeeper here in evidence isn't activated at the moment? And what would happen if we were to activate it? Why don't we see for ourselves? It would give us a chance to examine it. And while we're at it, we just might find some conclusive evidence. What? No, you can't activate it. Mr. Nickety, keep quiet or I'll have you thrown out of court. By the way, Mr. Wright, this is supposed to be a time machine, right? We aren't going to travel back in time to the Stone Age or anything, are we? I don't think we have to worry too much about that, Your Honor. I'm still a little nervous nonetheless, but the truth must be known. Very well, go ahead and start up the Timekeeper. Do you know how, Nick? I think so? Maybe? The bride and groom each had a symbol of their love, and when they were put together, oh, how romantic it was. Let's see, I think the symbol of the groom's love must be the Timekeeper itself. What symbol of the bride's love would fit together with the Timekeeper? Oh, I know, that has to be it. Mr. Wright, are you ready to activate the time machine now? Yes, Your Honor. The symbol of the bride's love that's necessary for activating the Timekeeper is... Ellen's Pednet!
Take that!
Right. Miss Wyatt's Pednet is the symbol of the bride's love that is necessary for activating the Timekeeper. Okay. Give me a second, guys. Give me a wee second. Don't mind me. I'm just leaving the guide and getting back into my chat room. For good. What? Then, does that mean you can start it up with the Miss Wyatt's pendant? I believe so, Your Honor. Very well, please try it now, Mr. Wright. Okay, here I go. But first I have to figure out where the pendant goes to. Oh, I have to figure it out? Oh no. There maybe? This hole looks like a good spot. I'll try setting the pendant in here. It fits! This must be the right spot. Now I have to find a place to insert the key. Crap. Does anyone see a place where a key would go? Hole in the middle of the pendant. Could this be it? Aha! Wow, I want that. Uh-oh. It worked! The Timekeeper's been activated. Now all I have to do is find proof that the crime was committed during the reception. How about the crack? I think I found it. conclusive evidence that the murder was committed during the wedding reception. Just as I suspected, there's evidence of the murder inside the timekeeper, Mr. Nickety. The timekeeper was only activated and open during the wedding reception, right? No! Stop! So, that means this is conclusive proof that the crime was committed during the reception. Ack! After you killed the victim under the cover of fog, you closed the timekeeper to hide the bloodstain, didn't you? No, you're wrong. Ellen killed Bloomsbury. It wasn't me, I tell you. Give it up, Mr. Nickety. How could the defendant, who was in the middle of pledging her love, have possibly committed the murder with everyone watching her? It was the family. Yes, all the family members conspired together to kill him. There's no way you can talk your way out of this, Mr. Nickety. During the reception, during that one dreamlike moment, only one person could have used the timekeeper to beat the victim to death. And that one person was you, Miss Pierce Nickety. Narg! Ack! No, this isn't over yet. I won't give up. Oh no, I cut the artery. This stupid thing. We must stop the bleeding now. Give me forceps. Forceps, I said. Hey, where is everyone? Fine, I'll manage this alone. I can do it all by myself. I can fix anything, repair anything. You have to get better. You have to live. You must. I would have been able to save her. If only I hadn't listened to her. If only I had treated her first. If only that Soren hadn't been there. Ugh. Selina. No. How do the gears keep popping out at him? They just do. You know, it just happens. Witness, are you finally ready to tell us the truth? It's just that the lawyer deduced. So it was all a revenge scheme against Soren Sprocket? Do you have any idea how hard it is to lose someone you love right in front of you? Selina's condition was clearly more critical than Soren's, but in spite of that, she said, "Please, help Soren." Miss Sprocket's last words, so that's what she really meant by those words. I was able to grant her wish, but at the price of her life. So you got a job with Sprocket Aviation and waited for your chance to get revenge. You got close to Mr. Gloomsbury and hatched this plot. Is that right? Gloomsbury already bore a grudge against Soren. So when I tempted him with an even better position, he immediately took the bait. He was your accomplice, and someone who shared the same goal as you. Why was it necessary for you to kill him? I didn't expect Soren to strike Gloomsbury out on the Vista deck, and I certainly never imagined he'd make his way along the outside wall. Soren's love is the real deal after all. My plan had been compromised, so for the time being I hid his body in the lantern, and tried to think of my next move. And then Mr. Gloomsbury came to during the second wedding reception. As soon as I saw Gloomsbury, I instantly hit it upon an idea, to pin the blame on Gloomsbury's murder on Ellen. You tried to break up the couple by making the bride out to be a murderer. How despicable. Soren was getting the company and a wedding. Both things that were supposed to be Selina's. He took every happiness from her. Who's the despicable one here? Do you think what you did would make her happy? I know it wouldn't, but I couldn't just stand by watching Soren enjoy his happiness. I was going to have Soren taste the same pain I had, and then take over Sprocket Aviation. I would take back from him all of the happiness that was rightfully Selina's. Time stopped for me that day I lost her, just like this pocket watch of hers. Pierce? Miss Wyatt? I believe Selina would have said, leave this ill will behind. Your time is yours to live. Your time is yours to live. It's too late for me. Time will never advance for me ever again. Click. What? It can't be. Ooh. I see now, Selina. What I did was wrong. I see no further need to continue this trial. Bailiff, please take Mr. Nickety away. Pierce Nickety, another inconsolable time traveler who lived in time that stood still. Now then, I must render my verdict regarding the defendant. Your Honor, before you give your ruling, would you please allow me a moment? Very well. Ellen, there's something I need to say to you. Yes, Soren? I put you through something truly horrible. This whole thing happened, all because of me. I would understand if you wanted to call off our marriage. What? Of course not. I never once thought that. If you stay with me, you'll only face even more trying times in the future. What do you mean? The truth of this incident and the car accident before it. I'm going to tell the public everything. I expect this company's reputation will suffer, and I'll take a lot of criticism, but I feel I can only really start over once I get everything out in the open. Soren! After all that's happened, I might not have the right to ask you this, but, well, how should I say this? Maybe I'll just... A life with me probably won't be very easy, but... Will you marry me? Yes, of course. Your Honor, thank you for this time. Please continue with your ruling. Very well, but first I have one question. Do the two of you pledge your eternal love for each other to the goddess of justice, Themis? I do, Your Honor. I do. Does the prosecution or the defense have any objections? Well done, Your Honor. No objections here. The defense has no objections either, Your Honor. This court finds the defendant, Ellen Wyatt. That's not right. This court finds the defendant, Ellen Sprocket, not guilty. Yay! That's the end of that, guys. And she even got married at the same time. This court is adjourned. Yay, I know. So one final question, guys. Where does Pierce Nickety belong on the Kill This Man list? Where would he go? Ellen, Soren, congratulations. Mr. Wright, I can't thank you enough. If you hadn't exposed the truth, Soren and I we wouldn't. Sniffle. 7 out of 10. Yeah, not that high. He kinda suffered too, but he did it did something not cool, we'll say. But now you can finally start your new life together, right? Oh, thank you! Mr. Wright, we'll be holding our real wedding ceremony in the near future. Would you do us the honor of coming to it? I want you to witness our fresh start. Of course, I wouldn't miss it for the world. And Ellen, this time it'll finally be happily ever after, right? Oh yes! The two of you have persevered and overcome this trial together. Now, no matter what obstacles come your way, I'm sure you'll be able to handle them. And there's another thing I'm sure of too. This person will always be watching over the two of you. We haven't had a serious honest-to-God kill this man since On Guard. You gotta admit the queen was pretty close, though. This person will be watching over you. Me, right? I will. I'm gonna guess her.
Take that!
Selena. Yes, I think you're right. She's a close third. Who's number 2? And we promise to live life to the fullest, for Selena's sake too. Right, Soren? That's right. Well, we better be on our way. Yes, my love. Aww. Wow, the old threshold carry, huh? Way to show off. We'll be seeing you. Goodbye for now. I'll be looking forward to that wedding. Hold on tight, Ellen. You better believe I will. I'm never letting you go. Aww. There they go. You're not thinking of going to that wedding by yourself, are you, boss? You're taking us too, right? The dude from the 4th game? Oh, Gavin. Yeah, that guy. You're taking us too, right? Oh boy, I bet there's gonna be all kinds of fancy food there. Athena? When did you get here? Just now. I would have been here to cheer you guys on earlier, but Juicy never gave me a chance to slip away. You're going to be in even bigger trouble with her later. Speaking of the wedding, maybe I should ask them to invite Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth? Really? But he thought Ellen was guilty all the way to the end. That may be true, but... Don't even bother. His claims is dead on arrival. Victory is within your grasp, prosecutor. Quiet, witness. I have no interest in victory. All I care about is the truth. One that we can only arrive at through further deliberation. If he hadn't stood up for us when he did, the trial probably would have ended there. You mean Mr. Edgeworth gave us that chance? Maybe. Though, knowing him, I doubt he'd ever tell, even if I asked. Well, if that's how you feel about it, Nick, then why not try to get him invited? Hey, Maya, have you ever tried to catch the bouquet? What? No. I never have either. Fighting over a bouquet that's been tossed by the bride. Talk about a fierce competition. I'm totally stoked. I'm not sure it's really supposed to be all that competitive. I'm a pretty good jumper, so I think I've got a chance. She's definitely missing the point of the whole thing. And Larry, how did you manage to stay so quiet for so long? Shut up! Wishing the lady you fell in love with every happiness is what a real man does. I'm pretty sure that relationship was over before it even began, Larry. Sniffle, darn it all, if only I was 10 years younger, things would have gone differently. Where is Larry on the "this man is so annoying" list? Hands of time, why won't you turn back for me? Ooh. September 30th. He's a 10 out of 10 on the "I don't know why we tolerate you" list. Yep, definitely. Today is Ellen and Soren's 3rd wedding ceremony and reception. Ere the bride and groom insisted it to be on the Flying Chapel again. In the end, they were nice enough to invite me and Maya, and Athena kind of invited herself. They also invited Edgeworth, Emma, and even Larry. They say 3rd time's the charm, right? I really do hope it's happily ever after for them this time around. Still, I get the feeling it's going to be one rowdy party. No, that's crazy.
Ready when you are.
Cutscene.
Okay, here we go. Huh?
Oh, hey! Look who's next! Huh?
No.
Get back! Haven't you ever heard of lady priest?
I'm truly blessed to have you.
Yay! And that's it. That is the end of the final case of the final game of everything. You unlocked a special bonus in the music and background settings thing. Yay! You've unlocked a special bonus in the music and background settings screen. Yay! And yeah, we are done, guys. This whole collection, done. Did you like it? Did you enjoy game? Did you enjoy the trilogy as a whole? We tip our hats to the people of Capcom and the Ace Attorney team. Yep, they did dang good. Lots of good cases. Lots of fun songs. It was fun. A fun time. What songs were added? Orchestral arrangements. Best game. Which one was the best game of the, 3, or rather of the 6 even? Here's the accolades. Yeah, I missed some things. Presented Phoenix with the Theramis Herald in Episode 3. Answering Love during Detective Fulbright's Psyche Lock in Episode 4. Pressing the plume and listening to the Black Quills taken what ought to be the featured attraction. Examine Dirk's written order in Episode 3. Always on the defensive. Overturn Urn. Ladders and Step Ladders. Oh, I missed 2 of them. You're saying that we never got to use Phoenix card's shark prowess to solve a case. Honestly, you think you'll take a 3rd game? I know. Can we have a 3rd game? Though technically, guys, we have a 3rd game. Kind of. You know, that one. I don't know when I'll stream this game, but I will stream it at some point. Screw it. I'll do it. Mr. Charlie and a Man of Many Hats. Art library. The best of the 6, you think you like the 3rd game the best? Trials and Tribulations. That is where the best case was. The number 1 best case. This is quite nice. And then this, Maya and Rayfa. I don't know why this is in the game, guys, but this is in the game. It's all of the animations, like from Apollo Justice through the 6th game. Who do you think had the best breakdown, by the way, guys? There were a lot of breakdowns in this game. Who had the best one? This guy, maybe? You can make memes with all the official animations. Probably. Juicy! Emma! Do you think this guy had the best breakdown? You know, this one. Oh, snap! You gotta admit, seeing him like that was pretty good. This jerk face. His is epic. His was pretty epic. Then there was Orla's breakdown. Eek! This is the part of the stream where we rate breakdowns now. No, you don't have one. You had one. Hers was a little bit short. Just feathers. Just a little bit of feathers. This guy had a breakdown too, actually. This Pritt stick. Oh yeah. Wesley Stickler. What a weirdo this guy was. Oh god, not him. Not you. I don't think Lammy Royer had one. Yeah, you did not have one. Machi didn't have one. You had one, that's for sure. This guy had one. His was quite fun. Valen. Did Valen have one? I don't think he did. Vera, Drew. Oh, everyone's favorite character. How do you do that with your hair? I don't know. This guy. Yep. Kill him. Is he actually #1 Captain Chips on the Kill This Man? Not for being a murderer, but for being just him. There we go. He's suffocated by his own tie. He is dead now. Hooray! Old Phoenix. By virtue of his existence alone, he's offensive to reality. Yep. Yes, he is. I don't think anyone else, had one. Mr. Hat! There you go, Stars Over Hyrule. There's your Mr. Hat. It's Tiny Trucy. Hey, can we bring back this guy, by the way? Maybe bring back, Dick Gumshoe? Maybe, guys? Would that be nice? You know, maybe? Maybe not this guy. Maybe this guy is fine. Special Investigator Dick Gumshoe. I know. Tiny Vera. Shoddy. You know what would be funny? What would be funny? Let's hear it. And then Dual Destinies. This game had some crazy breakouts. Thanks to the 3D-ness. Once the 3D stuff got happened, that's when things got crazy. Oh, there's this too.
Objection! Take that! Hold it! Gotcha! Hold it!
Take that!
Objection! Silence!
Silence. I'm just gonna say that whenever chat annoys me. Or have like a Twitch thing activate, like a command. If Gumshoe got a job as a private eye after retiring from the force, that would be cool. Who would hire him? I don't know, but it would be cool.
Objection!
It would be great if he could work with Edgeworth again too, somehow.
Objection! Objection!
Objection! But yep, this game, this particular one had some good ones. Including Prosecutor Blackwell. And Taka. He'd have every investigator pun as his name and title that way. That would be fun. I don't think he had one, did he? Oh, he did. Ah! Here we go. Hey, Rana! What's up? How you doing today? Right, this guy had a breakdown for sure. Rana, guess what? I beat the game! It's done! Now we're just rating, breakthroughs. Welcome, Raiders. Welcome on in. How you doing? Oh my gosh, and 45? Or not 45, 41. But thank you! Thank you so much for subscribing again for that many months. You are insane, Rana. But yeah, thank you for rating. We're rating breakthroughs right now. Yeah, this one was a bit crazy. Time for sleep. 5 stars! Thank you for stopping by. I hope you had a good time. On Saturday, or not Saturday, Thursday, A new game. New game! Not a new game for me, but new characters, we'll say. I like that the game has every breakout as just a thing that we can activate. What are we playing on Saturday? That would be Fortnite. Game over. Fortnite failed. Star Wars characters? That would be cool. But yep, that was Ted Tonate. Even his name too. That's when the names were getting really punny. Ted Tonate. I don't think Jinxie had one. I'm pretty sure she did not. Yeah, no, she didn't. Damien Tenma. I played it last week. No need to play it this week again, Rana. Oh no, we played it 2 weeks ago. Ah, Mr. LaBelle. Remember this rich fop? Wasn't he amazing and great? Oops. No. How was Persona, by the way? You love LaBelle. It was good. Did you complete the ship yet? Rana's on the ship, by the way, of Persona. What's that, right phone? I'm screwed. What's that, left phone? I'm screwed. I guess I'm dead. I don't think Filch had one. Robin Newman kind of had one. Yeah, why not? You love him? Oh, Akechi's back on your fangirl list? Haha. Remember Robin Newman's big reveal? Wasn't that a fun thing? Yep, Rana's not at the epic boss yet, but she will be. Eventually. Happy. Did Hugh have one? I don't even remember. Nope, he did not. Miriam kind of had one? Yeah, she had one. Lurk. Alrighty, Rana. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but yeah, thank you for rating, Rana. I'll see you soon. Have a good lurk. God, this guy. This flippin' guy. Remember this guy, guys? Remember that smile? The Brussels smile? But maybe even worse. And then this happened. Ah. And then his breakdown, which was quite comedic. Oh, he is the worst. This guy really is the worst. The noise. He deserved that, right? He gets a broken teeth out of 10 for kill this man. I don't know if this guy had one. No, he didn't. This guy had one. G. G for guilty. This guy was silly. This was a silly one. This was pretty funny. Did Ponko have one? I don't think so. Did Klonko have one? Nope. I don't think she had one either. No, you did. This guy did. The Phantom. One of the crazy big villains of the series. With one of the craziest breakdowns. Or is way too cool to have a breakdown? Yeah. As for the Phantom, though. Not him again. Not him again. Or that guy. Where'd he get all those masks anyway? Where'd he even get them all? But yeah, how would you rate that one, guys? That crazy one. I mean, yeah, we didn't get to see his face. Ever. But, oh well. Shink! That one was cool. It was. I quite liked it. Then there's this guy. Probably the best ending to the games. The mask one. This guy was quite fun. Especially when this happened. Guys, can humans do that? Can they just instantly get buff? How is that, like, even the possible? And then them waters got rough for him. Even though this was a DLC case, his was quite fun. Hey, Angel Love! Angel Love, we beat the game! We did it! We're done! And we're rating breakdowns right now. Like, who had the best breakdown of all? The bestest of the bestest. It's Aura! Remember the dolphin? Or not the dolphin, the killer whale bro? Ah! Oh yeah, then there's her too. Probably the best ending. Oh, I read that already. But yeah, it's all done, Angel Love. The Ace Attorneys are complete now. For a while. That one might have been a bit weird. Herman Crab, I don't think he had one. Yeah, he's just angry. He's just angry. And then we get to the last game. The game that we just played. You know that one? Spirit of Justice? Thank God it cut out that before the wetsuit got further. Yep. Thank goodness for that. This would be a very differently rated game if that went all the way. Did Nayuta have one? A thing? I don't think he did. Simon. Taka. No. Did Gaspin Payne have one? Yes, he did, apparently.
No!
He bawled. He just completely bawled. No. This guy. This flippin' dish bag, am I right? Taka was best character. Best character ever. Inga Karkul, how could this nam be any bigger or more pompous or whatever his name was? And don't forget Garan. We'll get to her in a second. There's Albie. Albie was great. I don't think he has one. And then Albie and Shadow. Bark! This guy. Police Lobin Understanding. This guy was quite fun. Very heavy metal. Gotta love it, right? He ruined a nice guitar. You love it when people play metal on traditional instruments of their culture. That is quite cool. Do you think anyone's ever done what this guy did? Used a normal, whatever this instrument is, to play metal? Bonnie DeFam. There's your Bonnie person. And there's Betty DeFam. And then there's these two together. And then, of course, not that instrument specifically, but close. I gotcha. Then there's this guy's breakthrough. I'll confess, I kind of like this one the most. The breakdown. Sitar metal is bad from India. Ah. Basically does that. I gotcha. A band, not bad. Oh, my bad. I can see the words, don't worry. Gotta admit, this music's pretty sick. A very fun one. Roger Rettins was, had a good breakdown. I don't think Dats had one. I'm not sure if she had. Revealing true self. Epic. Very epic. Nah, she didn't have one. This guy had one, but it wasn't that big. Or maybe it did. The breakdown was his soul leaving his body, I guess. This is the one where the kill this man was non-existent for this guy. Hashtag Tarus deserve better. And if you paid attention, that Magatama turned brown. And if you remember, that was the big thing from the fifth case. But yeah, his breakdown was more, like this. No! And then there's this girl. Oh, the internet loves her. The internet loves this clown. I wonder why the internet likes this one. I just can't imagine why. Again, I just can't imagine why. So thanks, internet, for being you. This guy kind of had a breakdown. Kind of. Meaning Owen. I don't know if Dirk had one. Yeah. Sergeant Buff. This thing. And then this thing. You had one. This guy definitely had one. This twonk. Politician. This is a comedy murderer. This is all comedy. That guy is a loser out of 10, right? On the Kill This Man list. Then there's her. Her transformation was kind of crazy if you remember it. Wow. I guess that was it. Does it not show the spin? Oh, there it is. Gotta admit, this was quite fun to watch. Whoa! Going back this way a little bit. We can't forget about her. The queen. The flippin' queen. It's not gonna show her, transformation? I guess not. Never mind. But yeah, her breakdown was also another crazy fun one. A good ending to a good game, am I right? Nothing. You stink, queen. Fun. If there is another Ace Attorney game, I hope there's other, I hope there's other, even more crazier breakdowns. And of course, you can't forget, this guy. Yes, we just saw him, but might as well show him one more time. This guy's big reveal was cool. His transformation. So what do you think, guys? Who had the best breakdown of the games? Of these three games? Who had the number one? I'm still gonna go with Roger, but what do you guys think? Feels like we just saw this one, guys. Yeah, you know? I almost feel sorry for him. Yeah, little sorry. But yeah, what do you guys think? Who had the best breakdown out of all of the peoples?
Objection!
Objection!
Got it! Satura! Satura ima o mandomo samashi de tashi nuke tarigase yo soroka! A dragon never yields.
Go back to Apollo here.
Objection! Silence!
I'm glad the silence was in this game.
Yeah!
If it's not the Phantom, then Ruse. Yeah, for sure.
That's enough! Oh, dance of devotion. Guide the... I am the royal and I am...
Objection!
Rawr. Mafia Babe like the Phantom more. Cool. Are you still here, Angel Love? Who did you like the most? Alright. I guess that's it, guys. I think I am done now. It was fun playing these 3 games. I gotta say, I wasn't expecting to play these 3 games, but I did. We played through all of them, and they were a blast. Here, you have no idea. Don't worry about it. You know what stinks, guys? The Spirit of Justice games had 2 mini episodes on it, and they're not in this version for some reason. That's what I would have done if they were included. We would have played those 2, but oh well. The first one apparently involved Pearl going to Karatin, and the second one involved Wraith visiting different areas, and Clavier was there. But it wasn't included in this version for some reason, so they're on YouTube if you want to check them out. Who's your favorite killer? Oh, there's so many good ones. I guess my favorite one is the obvious one. The username that was my old one way back in the day. Shelly D. Killer. But yep, that is the end of Ace Attorney, guys, for a while. Yep, Dick Killer. Like I said, I don't know when I will stream this game, but it won't be for a while. I'm going to take a little break. The next game I'm going to stream, though, is right down... Okay, maybe not right down here. But the next game I'm going to play is a game that I played already, but I want to play it again as the 3 other characters. And that game is... Where are you, you little stinker? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? It's here somewhere. Don't worry. Let's see. Give me a second. We'll find it. I'll reveal the next game. There it is. The next game I'll be playing is a replay of Trials of Mana. I played through 3 of the characters, and I want to play as the other 3. And I want to enjoy the voice acting again. The voice acting in this game, by the way, guys, is amazing. It's awful, and it's amazing. So yeah, look forward to that. But until then, we got more Skyrims as well. So, yep, take care, guys. Love you all. And I'll see all of you tomorrow with more games and stuff. Bye-bye.